What's going on, YouTube? How you doing? 10.23 just dropped, and we have some content to cover. But real quick, let's talk about endurance. If you are an endurance fanatic or addict or anything in between, you are probably very, very pissed off at what just happened. Just to bring you guys up to speed, if you guys aren't doing it, there was an exploit within endurance, and to fix that exploit, the devs apparently fix the spawns to what they originally were supposed to be, at least quoted by Magist or Dave the Buck, one of the guys. And now there are 4 to 5 or 6 extra spawns within endurance without raising the build limit. If you guys want to talk about that, I think we can make an entire video out of that, but today's video isn't about that. Yesterday, I spent all day grinding to get Dennis Jr. It took me 9 hours of streaming, plus, doing other things, and to get Dennis Jr. Now, we're not going to be talking about Dennis Jr. here. What we're really going to be talking about is totally rocking out. This, in my humble opinion, is the second best perk in the entire game, only following Blast from the Past. If you follow my content, my Twitch stream, anything, you know I think Paleoluna is the absolute best character in the game, hands down, bar none. However, totally rocking out is the perfect perk that we've been missing. In fact, it's kind of OP for the entire game. So how many situations have you been in where you want to bring a soldier, or you want to bring a ninja without Blast from the Past, or an outlander, but there's not really a perk to use with them? Yeah, some of them you can kind of maybe use, like the phase blaster or slow your roll or something like that for a little bit of extra here and there, but nothing you can really bring to up your damage. The best bet we had was Hunter's Instinct, and then that got nerfed, and now it's just okay and only at nighttime. But totally rocking out increases your crit rating by 160, and it decays, which is another new thing that's in the game. We'll talk about that in a second, and heals 73.7.5 base health, and that just is a scaling thing. As long as you have Rockin Riff activated, you're good to go. Now, this isn't going to be a full hero breakdown, but let's talk about some of the new heroes that we got, because they all do the exact same thing, just differently. And there's definitely better ones than others. Now, we have the soldier, Breakbeat Wildcat, and she gives you eliminating 4 enemies in 9 seconds, grants Rockin Riff, damage by 50, melee attack speed by 32%. They all do the exact same thing. However, they do them differently. If we take a look at the constructor, she does it with heavy attacks. So heavy attack eliminations have a 40% chance to grant Rockin Riff. Same damage buff. The ninja, I believe, gives you a football that can drop, which sounds really bad, but in reality, it's one of the better ones, maybe. We're still testing around with it. Eliminate enemies have 23% chance to grant Rockin Riff. And then lastly, the Outlander one is like a coconut. You farm metal, you get these things, these little chips, and then you eat them, and it gives you the Rockin Riff, the sub wafers. It gives you a 100% chance. Now, the only issue with this, and we'll just touch on it quickly, is that if you run like a Paleoluna build or something like that, you're going to have coconuts and this, and only allowing for 1 weapon slot, which technically that's more than enough. But this video is based on totally rocking out. How good is it, and really where you should use it. Now, since it is just a buff to everything, you can build it on certain builds that really benefit. I still think that Blast from the Past is better because the amount of survivability you have, but let's take a look at something like Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice has she's one of the best characters in the game. In fact, in my opinion, she's the second best character in the game after Paleoluna, and totally rocking out completely works with her. You have to slot 2 of the brand new heroes that we just got. So I have Battle Beat, eliminating 10 enemies. Now this one works with traps, so you have to remember that. Since this works with traps, you almost constantly have this up as long as you did some trapping during the elimination phase. But it also decreases very quickly. It decays very, very quickly. So you have to constantly be killing things to get it up. I tried it with Fumble and I wasn't in love with it, but the only other option is the Outlander one, which here actually might be a little better. You go around, you get some metal, you get the chips, and you eat the chips. This allows you to do some crazy stuff. Your crit rating at 160 is actually 57% crit rating decaying. So within the 8 seconds, it drops back down. As long as you keep killing things, your crit rating is through the roof. With a triple crit damage weapon like the Rat-a-tat that you see here, you can get a decent amount of crit rating. So you have 57% plus the base amount, which is usually 15 or 10%. So you're at 67% chance to crit. And as long as you're killing things and keeping this buff up, you have a triple crit damage weapon that does a insane amount of damage real fast. I mean, 680% critical hit damage. You shred everything. Now the only problem is that you can't really fit much survivability into the build. Is it a decent trade-off? Absolutely. Is this probably the best perk to bring 9 out of 10 times if you're trying to do damage? Absolutely. Considering that everything in the game is rolled crit chance, crit damage, not everything, but mostly everything. All the other YouTubers suggest it, I suggest it, and everything like that. This is probably the absolute best thing to do. And add these 2 slots in, you can still get a decent amount of damage. Hip Shot, Startup, Saurian Might. I was using the Rat-a-tat. This works with Startup. Saurian Might gives you a nice little bit of base damage. Now, another build that you can try is I did this. I played Whiteout Fiona, as you know, increases critical rating of swords, axes, and sights by 45. On top of this, that's 57. So technically we would be over 100% crit chance, but it does have diminishing returns on top of each other. I was using a triple crit damage sword, Spectral Blade, so no crit rating on the sword, and at peak I was at 78% crit damage. But as long as enemies were walking into my tunnel, I was constantly keeping Battle Beat and bringing down the house. This is heavy attack eliminations, works really well with the Spectral Blade. Battle Beat, as long as things were dying. I had like 2 campfires. Corrosive Blades, I was snaring and causing affliction almost on every single attack. There's 4 attacks within a second on a Spectral Blade, and it was absolutely crazy. I constantly was in shadow stance. It was fantastic. Do I think it's better than Blast from the Past? No. Higher missions, the survivability, bees, lasers, blasters, all of those guys really can start to one-shot you, basically, at really, really high content. But for anything 124 and below, this build will absolutely wreck. And it's perfect because you can bring it on anything you want. Sledgehammer, it doesn't matter. The amount of crit rating, 57% base crit rating, as long as you're killing things, especially during the defense phase, is fantastic. I don't think there's another perk that can compete with it. Damage-wise, pound for pound, it is probably one of the absolute best perks in the game. You're going to be putting it into all of your builds. Definitely get Dennis Jr. Do the quest line as fast as you can. Make sure you do not miss out on this, because if this goes away and you don't have it, especially with new stuff coming, who knows? And Season 11 right around the corner with all that cool stuff that's been teased, you definitely do not want to miss this. So this video was not really my normal thing. I don't really know how to show this off. There's going to be, of course, there's footage in the background and stuff and you can see it, but I just want to let you guys know that it's definitely, in my opinion, the second best team perk in the entire game, and you're going to be trying to put it on many builds. We're going to come up with more of them and we'll make videos about those. I'm going to break down all the weapons next, and probably Dennis Jr., our first axe hero. Speaking of Dennis Jr., he actually may be viable, especially with Totally Rocking Out. There is an axe in the game, I believe it's the Argon axe, with a 25 or a 30% base crit chance on it, so that could be really, really good. If you're curious about the weapons ahead of time, what I personally really like is number 1, the spear, number 2, the assault rifle, and number 3, the shotgun. All of the weapons are fantastic and they all do the same thing. However, it's not really an extra damage thing. It provides crowd control, which in this game is kind of rare and not to be undervalued. We also have the new trap, which again provides crowd control and a stun onto mist monsters, but I need your guys' help. What would you like to see next? We can cover any one of those, but which one do you guys prefer? Let me know down in the comments below. I stream 5 days a week over at twitch.tv/roundedtiktak. We would love to have you come by, hang out. If not, no big deal. And if you're always looking for a way to support what I do, you can always use creator code OOTikTakOO. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Let me know what you think about Totally Rocking Out and what weapon or trap we should do next, and I'll just go by what you guys say. I'll see you guys on the next one. TikTak out.